Thanks, Father Damien. Thank you all for being here. This is really quite a treat. You know, I have been privileged to know Coach Messier for 34 years and to have admired his work as a coach for all of that time. And there are many kinds of archetypes that teachers and coaches can embody. One can be the intellectual, think about John Wooden, right? The disciplinarian, right? The domineering, Bobby Knight, right? The angry, the folksy, right? The friendly, the corporate, like Tom Landry with his hat, right? The distant, or the player's buddy, like Rex Ryan, maybe, right? And dozens of others. And many times these exist in some combination. And every good coach or teacher will have a few of these at their disposal that they can pull out when they need to. But every good coach and teacher will also have a go-to archetype that is closest to the core of who they are. Coach Messier, that's the role of brother. Your boon companion. He is always the guy who can tell you the truth when others won't. The guy who always has your back. The guy you can count on in any situation. The guy who thinks of you first and himself second. The guy who realizes that finally everything is about family. And Coach Messier's service at DeMatha encompasses more than coaching wrestling, though that's what we're here to celebrate tonight. But I'd like to mention some of the other parts of his service to the school, which remains ongoing. Coach Messier has taught health and PE, and in recent years, he has reinvented himself as a health teacher, exploring ways to give kids projects, chances to develop their oral presentation skills, use technology, and use labs to rethink the classroom experience. He has quite probably driven more people in more buses than anyone in school history. The traffic record, so actually lots of events hinged on his getting the kids and the coaches somewhere, and Coach saw this as part of belonging to the community. Now before we had paid trainers, it was Coach Messier that kids saw for taping and for triage. And his gruff demeanor calmed kids down who knew they couldn't be seriously hurt if Coach was barking at them. He coached football and track. And in track, he resurrected a moribund program and led us to a championship, our first in decades, before turning it over to other coaches. Think of it. The man showed up August 8th each year to start football, and he didn't finish till the end of May with the track championships. A particular thing that Coach and I share, what happened in those summer months, is that we can both wield a pretty good mop. For many years, to make ends meet and help our families, Coach and I spent our summers doing basic janitorial work. Stripping, sealing, waxing classrooms, gyms, hallways, and offices at school. We cleaned toilets, we moved furniture, we did everything that needed to be done. If you want to teach and coach, he seemed to be saying to me, you'll find a way to do it. And perhaps that legacy, finding a way, is something he will be most known for. From classrooms to the cafeteria, from car dealerships to rooms separated with curtain walls, Coach found a way to teach. And I suspect that part of what drew Coach to wrestling and to track is their elemental nature. You and one other person in wrestling. You versus the clock and your own best time or distance in track. But he was great at taking individual kids in what appear to be individualistic sports and getting them to function as a team. So when you would see a team cheer like crazy for an overmatched freshman to stay out of a pin so that his team wouldn't lose more points, you knew that he had focused that team not only on their individual accomplishments, but on something larger than themselves. No one has ever been better at throwing his arm around a kid who did his best and was disappointed with the result and making him feel better, and then kicking another kid in the slats because he underperformed even though he won. Virtually every kid he worked with got more out of himself than he realized that he had inside him. It often takes a brother to pull that out of you. And no one has ever said or could say about Coach, he didn't care enough. I have lots of snapshot memories of Coach, as we all do, about the people we've known and admired for years. A way that we think of them when they are called to mind. My favorite memory of Coach is from an obscure meet at some gym not incredibly long ago, but I can't remember where it was. But Coach was sitting with one of his grandchildren, very young one, on his knee, in the midst of confusion, sights, and sounds, and smells of any tournament. his head hunched over to shield his grandson from the chaos, but also to teach, to point something out, but also to play, to encourage him and to delight him. Family. For Coach Messier, it's always been about family. Thanks to my big brother.